Hi guys, and welcome to my live poetry reading. And I will read the poem, and then you'll hear me talk about the poem at the end of the video. I'll put timestamps in the description box for each of these. If you don't want to hear the backstory, that's totally fine. And if you just want to hear the poem and the story behind the poem itself, go ahead and go look for the timestamps in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy.
Too much. I wish I didn't love you way too much. A new year, a new you, a new.
And he always did that. He always mumbled Christ when he couldn't figure out what to do or why he was doing something. He just felt foolish. He would do that. Okay, so I am going to read the poem, and then I will talk about the story behind it just briefly, because obviously you know the backstory. If you didn't watch it, then I really think that you should, because it really goes into detail about everything. From my perspective, at least. Obviously, I don't know everything that goes on with somebody, especially somebody who doesn't communicate, doesn't give you an explanation as to what happened. So I wrote this poem in order to kind of give myself answers, clarify my own head, and I hope that it speaks to you. I hope it moves you, and I also dedicate it to that guy, Mr. Suncoast. This is called Unacknowledged. I shouldn't be writing this. A psychic told me that nothing would come from this situation. A counselor told me not to feed you with my thoughts or mental energy. I keep thinking about when I put a novel out. Should I acknowledge you and your seasonal part in my story? It's this persistent picture that always keeps playing in my head. I see your nickname on the page, where you dedicate a book to someone. How do you dedicate a book to someone who blocked you on Facebook, ignores your texts, never offered an explanation about why he no longer wanted to be friends with you? Were you scared that I would beg you to love me? I'm sorry that I left without telling you why. That I would never blame you for the bad and evil things I witnessed and experienced at the hands of someone with envy in their heart and greed stuck between their tongue and their teeth. I didn't know what to say to you. I didn't know if you would tell me to stay or be angry with me because I saw them for who they are, instead of just pretending I was dumb, deaf, and blind. Gone is your musical laugh and the sparkle in your eyes as you would smirk at me with this synchronicity. You thought it was a ringless circus, too. The guy in the top hat, the greatest showman. No Hugh Jackman, he couldn't juggle, tell jokes, or tame a caged lion. Spitting fire was his one and only talent. As the master of ceremonies, the elephant he rode would spray water from her trunk, killing dreams, hopes, and new ideas, left and right. Unlike Dumbo, she was angry because her ringmaster clipped her wings and convinced her she couldn't fly. Fly she could, but he kept her chained and dependent on him for bread, water, and a place to rest her head. Yet he would demean her, keep her feeling small, so she always had to validate herself in his eyes only. It was a dark and dreary Tim Burton movie we were a part of, but like Zac Efron and Zendaya in The Greatest Showman, the characters we played were not convinced their love was enough to make it. Were you mad that I cared about you? Or were you mad because there was nothing we could do about it? Were you mad that I had the courage and open door to grasp my freedom before they hung me like the witch they believed me to be? I did care about you. I was so thankful for you. I think you are a beautiful person. So ordinary and extraordinary, all in one person. So complex, such an enigma. To me, you will always be a mystery. Our timing was neither wrong nor right. You were good to me. I encouraged you. You made me feel heard. You didn't look at me for my body or physique. Yet whenever I looked at you, I felt okay to be me. And for that, I can't regret how I fell for you with no real motive or reason. I just loved you. I still love you. But you won't talk to me, so I guess I'll write the dedication after all. Because it feels better to acknowledge you than pretend you didn't matter to me, that you still matter to me. That I don't think of you when I listen to Billie Eilish, and remember how I made you laugh because I said she may be a Satanist. She's not. Yet the notion of that didn't make you flinch or judge me, and you never forget someone like that. Someone who runs toward you in your outlandishness instead of away from it. Someone who makes you repeat what you said even if you mumbled it because it deserved to be heard. Someone who always helped me, talked to me, and believed in me until you didn't. Someone who I miss. Someone who I pray for every single day. Someone like you. You have to acknowledge someone like that. Even if it was only a series of moments, they made an ordinary, boring job and made it memorable. Just the thought of you makes me look back at those months of my life and smile. Even with tears in my eyes. I've let you go, but I just had to let you know that I acknowledge all you were to me and all I hope you become. Mr. Suncoast, this is for you. That was unacknowledged. Hi guys, and welcome to this new 3-week series that I'm doing for my original poetry. Today I'll be reading you guys a poem that has been up on my page all Poetry Month, as well as it's continuing because it was 30 stanzas and 768 words. It is a poem that I wrote I actually wrote the first draft of it on March 10th of this year, and it was kind of like me putting everything out there that I kind of had not spoken about publicly, and also with the person that the poem is for. It's my response to my former employer. It talks about that, as well as it is addressed to a person nicknamed Mr. Suncoast. And a lot of you may be wondering who he is. In this story, particularly, the employer and the people that did the abuse, harassment, discrimination towards me and my fellow co-workers were the villain. But Mr. Suncoast, he was the guy that never got the credit, but he, to me, was always a hero. And that is how I've characterized him in this poem, and that is how I saw him the entire time I worked alongside him. And I actually posted a video last night, and it should be going up right now on YouTube. And it's an hour long, so please make sure you have the time to sit and watch the whole video. But it is and it is an emotional video, so you will see me cry and react to my real feelings. But it tells the entire story about Mr. Suncoast. And he was aware that that was what I called him, because around this time last year was when I actually told him, I actually came up with a nickname for you, and I told him that it was Mr. Suncoast, and he actually liked it a lot. So, but basically, me doing this poetry reading, what I've been trying to come to is a place of true healing, a place of clarity, and a place of understanding, so that I can grow as a person and move forward from this and not be stuck in this dark thing that happened to me, but instead find light in the cracks and get my way out. And I've made my way out, I believe, now, and that now I am telling this in order to help others heal, because a lot of people deal with these issues and fall in love with people who end up not feeling the same, or that they kind of shut you out of their life without an answer. And that is what this poem is going to speak to. Now, the story behind the poem is that I used the darkness. I used that for the imagery and decided that it made sense that it was going to be a mix of like Tim Burton meets The Greatest Showman, and use those types of metaphors to put out the story in a poetic way, and then also talk about how me and him kind of like were allies together. It was my longest poem I've ever written, 30 stanzas, 768 words. And even though in the poem I talk about how I like wanted to acknowledge him in my novel, I've recently come to the conclusion that I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that this is enough. So like hopefully he does see this, but if not, oh well. So this is my acknowledgement and what I would have written if I put him, but that's why it's called Unacknowledged, because it's like a play on me acknowledging him in my metaphorical novel, as well as like him not acknowledging what happened. Mr. Suncoast, everyone around us may have said I was mad as a hatter, but knowing someone like you even exists helped me make sense of the chaos. Thank you for who you are. You were good to me. I mean it, thank you. If you or someone you know has been a victim or experienced workplace harassment, workplace discrimination, or you felt demeaned or belittled in your workplace and you felt that it was a toxic work environment, please feel free to go to the link in my description box and check out betterbrave.org. They're an organization that empowers people that have experienced workplace discrimination, sexual, and any type of harassment, as well as anyone who has felt like they worked in an environment that was toxic. They provide resources, they have workshops, and they empower employees to speak up and be braver within the workplace about things that they see and witness. And I really believe they're a great organization, so please check out the link in the description to find out more about them, as well as you can donate directly to them. You could also donate on my website, chelseadevriesauthor.wordpress.com. Thank you.